From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the Business, Equity, and Opportunities Podcast with Scott Sander.
Welcome to the Business, Equity, and Opportunities Podcast. I'm Scott Sander. On this episode,
Courtney Kincaid breaks down some of the issues that small businesses need to consider financially in 2025.
Looking for ways to save on your energy bills? AES Indiana has you covered. From smart thermostats to home energy assessments, we offer simple solutions to keep your home comfortable and your costs down. AES can help you save money and energy with kits, tips, rebates, and more. Visit aesindiana.com/ways to save to learn more about how we can help you save money. AES Indiana, helping you discover real ways to save.
Every business is unique and has a target audience. If you own or manage a business, Circulus Digital Media can help you connect and grow your customer base with turnkey digital solutions that are nimble, offering best-in-class results, service, and support to reach a bigger customer base, allowing you to pinpoint a specific audience down to the smallest details. Get outside the city, the state, span the globe. Put Circulus Digital Media to work for you. Get started now at circulusdigital.com. That's circulusdigital.com.
I think that when we talk about what's coming in the future year or transitions between presidencies, you know, there is a lot of trepidation when it comes to what's going to happen to my taxes, or excitement, right? What you think is going to happen to your taxes. In Indiana this year, we have a unique position where we have that at the state level as well. And so I think for small businesses and entrepreneurs particularly, what's happening at the state legislative level is usually more quickly impactful for small businesses and entrepreneurs. So we have a couple of exciting things happening when it comes to these two demographics. Is we have an incoming governor, a new governor, who is really, if his campaign promises are to be believed and his plan that he's kind of rolled out so far, is a commitment to the business development of Indiana, and particularly small businesses and entrepreneurs. You pair that with 2 years ago, the legislature created a task force who recently released their recommendations for what should happen in the 2025 legislature. So that state and local tax review task force simultaneously has released what they feel should happen in the legislature to create a fair, equitable, and transparent tax regime in Indiana. And when you compare the two, you do start to see a lot of overlap. And there are issues on both of those agendas that we've seen for a number of years. One of them will be business personal property tax. And small businesses, this is particularly interesting because what that means is currently you're taxed on 30% of the original value of that property. This is not necessarily a common tax regime, and some in the State House argue that it really penalizes small businesses and entrepreneurs because taxing at the original value is not fair. Maybe you should tax at the current market value. And so there have been a lot of proposals over the years of what this might look like, and what we see is, depending on what chamber you're in or what party you're in, there are different ways to fix this. And because it's not as simple as just saying, okay, we're not going to do that anymore. As you imagine, it makes up a lot of funding for municipalities and local governments. And so how do we replace those funds at the locality and municipality level is a problem that they haven't quite been able to figure out to get it across the goal line. Senator Braun, soon to be Governor Braun, is looking at proposal. His campaign strategy is, or campaign promise I should say, was to make it market value. So removing the 30% and just saying, hey, you're going to pay tax on current market value. In the past, we have seen eliminating a number altogether of saying, why are we doing this, to we would just reduce it 5%. So there is a lot of uncertainty on how that will get through and if it will get through. As I said, this has been an issue for a long time. The Chamber has brought it forth. Our own Tax Resource Advisory Council has brought it forth multiple times. So we'll see if this session offers an opportunity to find an answer and what that is. When we think about filing taxes or when we think about year end, just knowing in that first quarter of a new presidency or a new governorship, there are a lot of changes that usually come out. These are usually hard tax years for our practitioners because you get some retroactive activity or you get extensions. So we always tell people, don't feel like your practitioner doesn't know what's happening if they want to file an extension. They're not necessarily too busy to look at your return. They might be waiting to see what happens in the legislature. Also of interest are just other requirements around that. Another tax that they're looking at is the de minimis tax, which is on personal property, which is essentially saying right now that is set at $20,000. So if your property value, be that furniture or equipment, is below that number, you aren't taxed on that. Both Braun and the State and Local Tax Review Task Force are looking to raise that amount. So from 20,000 to we've seen 80,000. And so with all of those things, those have huge impacts on small business. And both of these groups really think that this spurs some economic development here in Indiana. So they're very interested in that. But it puts a lot of questions out there, right? Working with your CPA is a great way to make sure that you stay compliant, but it's also a really great way to make sure you're taking advantage of changes as they come out in a changing environment in the legislature.
Our thanks again to all the contributors who joined us for this episode of the Business Equity and Opportunities podcast. We hope you found it enlightening, useful, and inspiring. You'll find more information about the show on our website, BEOshow.com. You can watch Business Equity and Opportunities Sunday mornings at 10 on Wish TV or live stream it through wishtv.com. Each week we provide 7 full segments with topics ranging from how to get started and how to access capital to the day-to-day running of your business and questions about accounting and bookkeeping. We feature business news and trends and always share a success story from one of our contributors. Join us next time for more insights into the world of small business. Be sure to sign up for our Business Equity and Opportunities newsletter to get even more valuable, up-to-date information. And if you have any questions or you'd like to be part of our show, please email us. The address is beo@wishtv.com. We'd love to hear from you. I'm Scott Sander. Thanks for listening.
Watch the Business Equity and Opportunity Show on Wish TV and access all of our content and share it on demand anytime at BEOshow.com. You can find more podcasts from Wish TV on the All Indiana Podcast Network at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.